You know that feeling, right? You look at a loved one's kitchen counter and it's covered in pill bottles. It can be pretty overwhelming and honestly a little scary. Well, today we're going to transform that worry into action. Let's dive in and get you the tools you need to become their most effective advocate. Think about this quote for a second. It really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? It's this crazy paradox that the very medicine that's supposed to heal can actually become a source of harm. The stakes are really high, and that's why we need to talk about this. So, how on earth does this happen? How can something designed to help end up hurting? To really get it, we need to zoom out from just one person's medicine cabinet and look at the bigger picture. And trust me, this isn't just you worrying about your family. This is a massive, well-documented issue across the country. And when you see the numbers, you really start to understand the scale of it. Take a look at this number from the CDC, 83%. That's how many American adults in their 60s and 70s have used at least one prescription drug in the last month. This isn't some niche problem. This is the reality for almost every older adult out there. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Within that huge number, about a third of those folks are taking 5 or more different prescription drugs. There's a word for this. It's called polypharmacy, and it's where the risk of dangerous side effects and interactions just skyrockets. And those risks, they have very real, very serious consequences. People over 65 are twice as likely to wind up in the ER from a bad drug reaction, and an incredible 7 times more likely to actually be hospitalized because of one. The good news is so many of these situations are preventable, and that's exactly what we're going to tackle. Okay, so how do we fight back against this? We start by getting smart. Information is your superpower here. Think of these first 4 tips as your detective toolkit. This is where you gather your intel. So here's our plan of attack, and this advice comes straight from the experts at the American Geriatrics Society. 4 clear, totally doable steps to gather the intelligence you need to keep your loved ones safe. First up, and this is a big one, question everything. I mean, everything. That vitamin D supplement, that over-the-counter cold medicine, they seem so harmless, but they can cause serious interactions with prescription drugs. A quick 2-minute call to the pharmacist can literally prevent a disaster. Now, this right here might be the single most powerful tool you have. A master list. Every single thing they take, prescriptions, vitamins, you name it, all goes on one piece of paper. You're going to take this to every single doctor's appointment. That way, the cardiologist knows what the urologist prescribed. Everybody sees the full picture. And remember, a prescription isn't a life sentence. Our bodies change over time. So at least once a year, you need to be the one to ask the doctor to do a full review of that list. Ask them point blank, is every single one of these still necessary? Be proactive about it. Okay, so what happens when a new prescription comes along? You've got to turn into an investigator. Here's your checklist, and it starts with the most basic question of all, why? What is the specific goal of this new drug? Next, you need to understand both sides of the coin. What are the potential downsides, the side effects you need to watch out for? And just as important, what does success look like? How are we going to measure if this medication is actually doing what it's supposed to do? And finally, the really practical stuff. You know, life happens. Someone might forget to take a pill, so you have to ask what the plan is. Do you take it as soon as you remember, or do you just skip it and wait for the next scheduled dose? Knowing this ahead of time saves you from panicking later. All right, you've gathered your intelligence, you've got your toolkit, now it's time to put up your shield. These next 4 tips are all about being vigilant, day in and day out, to make sure everything is safe. So here's the second part of our plan. These are the daily habits, the simple routines that create a powerful shield of protection against those common, everyday medication errors. First things first, get organized. A simple weekly pill organizer is a total game changer. It helps prevent those, did I already take my morning pills moments? And don't forget the simple stuff, like asking the pharmacy for large print labels if vision is an issue. The whole point is to make doing the right thing as easy as possible. Okay, this next tip is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Use one pharmacy, always. When you do this, your pharmacist becomes a crucial member of your safety team. Their computer system will automatically flag potential drug interactions that a doctor who might not have the full list could easily miss. You have to remember, you are the first line of defense. You're the one who's there every day. If a new problem, like dizziness or confusion or a weird rash, shows up right after starting a new medication, don't just write it off as getting older. That could be a side effect. you have to report it to the doctor right away. And finally, let's talk about the universal rules. Now, these might seem obvious, but you'd be shocked how often they're broken. Never take expired medicine. Never, ever take a drug that was prescribed for someone else. Don't stop taking something like an antibiotic just because you feel better, and always ask about alcohol. These rules are non-negotiable. So, let's pull all this together. When you start doing these things, something really important happens. You start to shift your role. You're not just a caregiver anymore. You're becoming a powerful, informed advocate for their health. And I really want you to let that sink in. The doctors, the pharmacists, they're the experts, of course. But you're the one who's there day in and day out. You see the little changes. Your voice, armed with the right information and the right questions, is the most powerful safety tool of all. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. As soon as you're done here, go look at those medications. Just look at the bottles and ask yourself, what's the first question that comes to mind? Is there a master list? Do we even know what this one is for anymore? That's where you start. Your journey to becoming their best advocate begins right now.